How Fight Club exposed the self-help industry. The 1999 film Fight Club, based on Chuck Palahniuk's novel, criticizes consumerism, toxic masculinity, and identity crises. One of its sharpest criticisms is the self-help industry, which promises healing and transformation, but often delivers superficial solutions. From the protagonist's perspective, self-help groups and therapeutic programs may be emotional pacifiers rather than personal growth opportunities. This video explains how Fight Club exposes self-help industry flaws and why its message is still relevant. The protagonist's struggle and self-help addiction. How does Fight Club portray self-help groups as different from traditional therapy? The narrator, who is not identified and is portrayed by Edward Norton, is afflicted with severe sleeplessness, which is a manifestation of his profound discontentment with life. A repetitive work, an obsession with consumerist luxuries, and an emotional disconnection are all characteristics that he has. For the purpose of finding relief, he starts going to various self-help support groups. He does this not because he genuinely experiences the conditions that are addressed by these groups, but rather because they provide him a feeling of belonging and allow him to express his emotions. In these sessions, he is able to shed tears, talk about his feelings, and get a sense of validation. He has a momentary sense of comfort as a result of the act of displaying vulnerability inside a structured atmosphere. The film, on the other hand, presents these organizations as ultimately useless in addressing his more profound existential difficulties. He is not genuinely mending. Rather, he is only diverting his attention away from the things that are truly frustrating him. One of the most significant criticisms leveled against the self-help business is that it often offers just momentary solace rather than significant and long-lasting transformation. The problem with self-help surface-level solutions. The movie Fight Club makes the argument that self-help groups might serve more as emotional crutches than as catalysts for genuine mental and emotional improvement. The main character develops a dependence on the groups, much as an addict would develop a dependency on a substance. He is relying on self-help as a band-aid remedy instead of addressing the underlying cause of his misery, which is his feeling of purposelessness in a society dominated by consumption culture. Despite the fact that many self-help books, seminars, and programs promise change, they do not address the psychological and structural complexities that are present in the sector. This issue is prevalent throughout the self-help industry. These solutions often encourage folks to engage in passive participation in feel-good activities that bring momentary respite, rather than encouraging them to address and overcome the more profound challenges they are working with. Tyler Durden and the rejection of self-help. Why does Tyler Durden reject the idea of self-help and support groups? The entrance of Tyler Durden, who is portrayed by Brad Pitt, is the moment when the plot takes a significant turn for the better. Tyler exemplifies everything that the narrator does not possess, including charm, fearlessness, and freedom from obligations imposed by society. His perspective directly contradicts the principles upheld by the self-help industry. Instead of finding solace in support groups, Tyler argues for experiences that are raw and unfiltered, including sorrow, struggle, and devastation, since these are the means by which one may really know themselves. The underground movement that Tyler builds via Fight Club is one in which men engage in physical conflict with one another to break free from their emotional apathy. The participants in these harsh conflicts are forced to face their physical and mental boundaries, which is in contrast to the fake comfort that is provided by self-help seminars. The hardships they endure serve as a metaphor for true self-actualization. Instead of avoiding their challenges, they confront them directly. According to Tyler's worldview, the self-help business is responsible for keeping individuals stuck in a cycle of reliance, while genuine progress necessitates a more radical and, at times, unpleasant confrontation with reality. The self-help industry as a consumer product. Another significant criticism that is brought up in the film Fight Club is the idea that self-help is, eventually, a commodity that is marketed to customers. In the same way that the narrator is fascinated with purchasing IKEA furniture, to establish an identity, he similarly consumes self-help as a commodity. It is implied in the movie that both material products and self-help programs have the same purpose, which is to provide the impression of self-improvement without addressing more profound existential questions. This cycle creates a thriving environment for the current self-help business, which is worth billions of dollars. Books, motivational speakers, life coaches, and therapy apps are all examples of things that claim to solve problems. Yet many of these solutions are based on generic advice, transitory inspiration, and an ongoing loop of additional product upselling. The movie Fight Club makes the argument that the entertainment business profits from keeping people reliant on it rather than really assisting them in becoming self-sufficient. The paradox of self-improvement. Can real self-discovery come from struggle, or is there a healthier way to achieve it? The paradox of self-improvement becomes one of the most important ideas conveyed by the movie. In the beginning, the narrator is under the impression that he can fix himself by conforming to the expectations of society, which include purchasing the appropriate things, participating in support groups, and looking for comfort. On the other hand, none of these things provide him genuine joy. Although it is radical, Tyler's theory indicates that genuine self-improvement does not originate from outside sources, but rather from liberating oneself from the conditioning of society and finding pleasure in suffering. This theory presents a challenge to the contemporary self-help movement, which often suggests that pleasure and success may be attained via the execution of straightforward and reiterative actions. In the film Fight Club, the protagonist makes the argument that genuine self-discovery requires a more radical, customized, and sometimes traumatic approach. Relevance today, the self-help industry in the digital age. The self-help industry has seen significant expansion since the release of Fight Club, especially with the rapid rise of social media. Numerous self-improvement gurus on social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube offer hacks for attaining success, enhancing productivity, and improving happiness. Many of them resemble the issues critiqued in the film. They provide straightforward and comprehensible counsel, but often neglect to tackle deeper psychological and structural concerns. The lesson imparted by the film is now more relevant than ever. While self-help may provide valuable tools, it must not replace genuine self-exploration and critical thinking. A significant percentage of individuals in contemporary culture, like the narrator, engage with self-help material primarily as a type of transient diversion rather than as a pathway to genuine transformation. Fight Club shows how the self-help business gives comfort rather than transformation. From self-help group reliance to Fight Club's visceral experiences, the film implies that real human progress needs more than passive participation in established programs. It asks whether self-help is transformational or just another product that keeps individuals seeking validation. The 1999 film's criticism remains pertinent today, asking if self-improvement should be about comfort or facing unpleasant facts for actual progress. Like, share, and subscribe for more.